Good evening and welcome to the COVID-19 update on Channels Television. I'm Millicent Walker. First, the highlights. We begin with Ogun State government joins other states to start mass vaccination drive, targets 2 million. Ebonyi health official says residents have warmed up to the idea of getting vaccinated against COVID-19. And Australia opens its international borders for the first time since the start of the pandemic. According to data from the Johns Hopkins University Coronavirus Resource Center, the number of people who have died from COVID-19 around the world has surpassed 5 million. The global tally reports that 197,116 people died of COVID-19 worldwide in the past 28 days. The number of coronavirus cases officially reported globally stands at over 246.7 million since it was first detected in the Chinese city of Wuhan in late 2019. Last Thursday, the World Health Organization warned that global cases and deaths are increasing for the first time in 2 months, driven especially by ongoing increases in Europe. Meanwhile, as of today, about 11 states are managing over 100 cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. The top 5 states are the Federal Capital Territory, managing over 2,000 cases, followed by Delta State, over 1,000. Benue is next with 378, Kwara 239, and Akwa Ibom 228. And in the last 24 hours, 74 new confirmed cases and 1 death was recorded, reported from 8 states. Here's more on the virus update.
74 additional persons in Nigeria have tested positive to COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, the latest figures were reported from 7 states and the FCT and indicate a drop from the figures reported 24 hours earlier. The most cases were reported from Benue with 49 new infections. Enugu and Osun reported 6 cases each. Kano had 5 cases, Oyo 4, and the FCT 2. Both Bayelsa and Ogun reported 1 case. The report includes backlogs of confirmed cases from Benue and Enugu states, as well as recoveries from Lagos and Abia states. No cases were reported in 7 states: Delta, Edo, Ekiti, Gombe, Ondo, Taraba, and Sokoto. The total caseload in Nigeria has risen to 211,961. 41 patients have been discharged in the last 24 hours, increasing the total number of recoveries to 203,121. There was 1 additional death from COVID-19 complications reported in the last 24 hours, raising the total number to 2,896. Currently, there are more than 5,800 active cases in Nigeria, while over 3.3 million samples have been tested so far. The latest update from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency shows that more than 5.6 million Nigerians have received a first shot of the COVID-19 vaccine, while over 3 million persons have been fully vaccinated. Globally, more than 6.9 billion vaccines have been administered. In Africa, there are more than 8.4 million confirmed cases and over 218,000 deaths recorded across countries on the continent. More than 246 million people all over the world have contracted COVID-19, while deaths have now topped 5 million.
And let's take you to Ebonyi State, where the government says COVID-19 vaccination is ongoing, with the second dose being administered. In order to sustain the vaccination drive across the 13 local government areas, the State Ministry of Health organized a day's training program to give the needed knowledge to primary health care officials geared towards the successful vaccination exercise.
The response is very, very encouraging. It was the beginning of this COVID, when we started this COVID. We started with health workers. So the purpose of starting with the health workers is for them, for people, others, to know that health workers have started taking their vaccine, because people were like, they were fearing about the rumor, information they are hearing about COVID vaccine. So, but after some time, when we started taking it, they discovered that it has no effect, that the vaccine is very, very effective and safe. That's when people started coming gradually, but as of now, it is people are trooping to take the vaccination.
Almost 2 years ago now, the pandemic outbreak disrupted the worldwide entertainment industry, and in particular film and television production. As COVID-19 cases steadily rose in Nigeria and the government enforced a nationwide lockdown, the economy shrank by 1.8%, plunging the country into its second recession in 5 years. And with that, cinemas were closed, events, premieres, entire marketing and distribution campaigns were either postponed or cancelled. But with shutdowns occurring throughout the globe, consumers relied on digital, video on demand, streaming video, and electronic sell-through for entertainment. Well, Michael Ugochukwu-Stevens, also known as Rugged Man, joins us on this very special edition of the program to talk more about how COVID affected the entertainment industry. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me. How's your day been?
It's been okay, very okay. Let's begin. I mean, like everyone else, how did the COVID-19 pandemic affect you?
Well, it affected me negatively, just like everybody else. Let me not sound selfish. Especially from the fact that in 2019, I had the first edition of my the foundation concert, where I actually had performances by entertainers who laid the foundation for Nigerian contemporary music from my time as it is today. Meaning I brought the likes of Plantation Boys, Remedies, Sonny Neji, Pretty and Junior, Azados, Marvelous Benji, African China, people from my time. They all performed at the concert, and of course, it wasn't just about performances. I also honored three great Nigerians: Michael, the man who composed the national anthem; Akikumi, who designed the national flag; and our professor, who just passed, may her soul rest, who composed the national pledge. I also honored them. So I was supposed to have a second edition in 2020. We were already having those discussions by February, and then the pandemic hit in 2020 March. And that was one of the direct ways it hit me. And then talking about entertainment in general, a lot of things we had to do physically, and especially in public, had to be not just put on hold, a lot of it canceled. No shooting of movies, concerts like my own, and things, and even shooting music videos. A lot of those things were canceled. So those were the ways that it affected me negatively.
So essentially a major setback.
Yes. And then, but on the flip side, the pandemic actually helped a lot of people realize their presentation talents, because a lot of people started, having shows on, using social media, right, interviewing people and things like that. Yeah, and then some of it actually led to them having serious shows today. For instance, I started, though I'd been doing that before, but I got in touch with a lot of Nigerians in diaspora, and on my social media. And then I interviewed them, talked to them about how they were coping with the pandemic, because it seems like Europe and America were worse hit than Africa. And then also I did some giveaways for a couple of months. And then I started talking to people who were having issues, maybe police issues, domestic violence issues and all. I became like a middleman, somebody in between the masses and authorities that could assist them. So that's how I started my What's Happening with Rugged Man from social media. Then when the pandemic kind of eased up a little, I actually just started the TV show. It's airing on 3 TV stations as we speak. And I also started the Pidgin version, which is Waiting Day with Rugged Man on radio.
So
like
Rugged
just
Man,
doing still.
making the most, out of a bad situation, talking about COVID now. But, we also know that, during the peak of the pandemic, there were certain palliatives. I mean, for example, the aviation sector got some. What about the entertainment sector? Did you get any?
Well, not to my knowledge. No, I didn't get any. And I don't think I know any entertainer close to me that got any. So if any entertainers out there right now watching, we might just need you to let us know if you got some. So it's never too late, But no, I didn't get any.
So according to a report, the trend is that there was a lot more of digital, which you've alluded to. The digital entertainment was accelerated, flowing from, 2020. And this report says that, Nigeria's media and entertainment sectors, the revenue will indeed increase in a couple of years. But when you look at how the pandemic, for some economies, for example, has taken them back to maybe 10 years or even more, and then look at what we have now. Do you see us moving ahead? And also, this is as we live with, what is COVID-19 and the new normal today?
Well, yeah, definitely. I see us moving ahead. I speak as a Nigerian and for Nigerians. We've been through worse. I'll just say we've been through worse, and Nigerians are very resilient people. We went through Ebola, and look at us today. COVID, you're learning very soon. We're going to live through this, and we're going to get better, But it's not even the pandemic that's the worst pandemic. It's not the COVID pandemic that's the worst pandemic for us. It's the political pandemic.
A political pandemic. Rugged Man.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, just to expatiate on your last comment, you said political pandemic.
Yeah, to me that's the worst pandemic that's been hitting Nigeria since 1960. Because basically, I just said basically, if from 1960 till now we still don't have our basic amenities like constant electricity, good education, healthcare. Every day we hear and see our doctors fleeing from Nigeria to go abroad. We hear great things about, Nigerians. We hear great feats Nigerians are achieving abroad, but not inside Nigeria. And the people who are supposed to make things better for everybody, make the economy, make the country conducive for all of us to grow, for all our talents, be it entertainment, be it medically, and all that to grow.
Rugged Man, stay on with us. Yes, sorry to interrupt you. Stay on with us. We need to quickly go on a break. Still to come, we'll also be talking about the recent reports by Jobberman that states Nigeria's creative industries is employing a lot more, and this is about 2.7 million more by 2025. Stay with us. You're still watching the COVID-19 update. Of course, things that are happening in Lagos, and one very one is the building collapse that is in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. We understand that it collapsed, and also the spokesperson of the National Emergency Management Agency told Channels Television that 3 bodies have been recovered from the rubble and 3 rescued. Our correspondent, Darido, is there, and we'll be speaking to him within the course of the program. But we've been talking to our entertainment guests on this special edition of COVID-19 and the entertainment industry with Michael Stevens, also known as Rugged Man. So, Rugged Man, looking at the NPIs, which is what we're advised now, and this is also as we have the very little vaccines that we have for our population. How much of the entertainers are also responding to vaccines, taking the vaccines, are open to getting vaccinated, and also participating in the non-pharmaceutical interventions, the hand wash, the face masks, especially when they have their shows or when they're in crowds and what have you?
Well, nobody talking about participating in with the hand wash and everything. Nobody wants to die, so everybody's participating in that because you'd be silly not to. Like I tell people, even though at a point some people were like, "There's nothing like COVID-19," but what I keep telling them is, I will not let me be the one they will use as an example or to use to confirm that there's COVID. I'll not be the one they will use to confirm. So I follow all that procedure. But talking about the vaccinations, I don't know how many entertainers have been vaccinated, really, but I wish that's something I think the government should be, or the people in charge of vaccination should be able to tell us, but that's if it's information the public is supposed to be privy to. But apart from that, well, some people are still a bit skeptical about the vaccine.
We appreciate your time. Thanks so much. We've been speaking to Michael Stevens, also known as Rugged Man. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's go to the developing story in Lagos today. Our correspondent, Dare Dowu, has joined us since from the Ikoyi area. The multi-purpose building sited on Gerrard Road, we understand, was under construction before it caved in. Officials of NEMA and the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, as well as operatives from the Disaster Response Unit of the Army, the Air Force, they are all on ground for the rescue operation. The Lagos State government has, of course, blamed incessant building collapses on the state on poor compliance with physical planning laws. Dare, if you're with us, tell us about the situation at the moment.
We're still here at the scene of the building collapse in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. Rescue operation is going on. It's going to move in that direction, and you will see what is going on in the background. There's a lot of crowd control going on, and we've also spoken to emergency management officials around here as well. They said 3 bodies have been recovered from the building, and also 3 persons have been rescued alive. So the rescue operation is still ongoing. Let me give you a bit of a background as well. Eyewitnesses said building caved in about 2 p.m. and when the building caved in, they could hear voices from the building, and people were quite apprehensive. They wanted the rescue operation to start on time, but it didn't start until about 5 p.m. or before 5 p.m. and before then a lot of people had stepped in to rescue at least 2 persons. They brought out 2 people who were taken to the hospital, and a lot happening at the moment. The deputy governor is also here, and when we're trying to get him to talk, he said he doesn't have the feedback or anything to talk to us about yet. But we spoke to the Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, who pretty much gave us an idea of what is going on. He said they're working with other government agencies to make sure that more persons are rescued from the building. And it's getting dark, as you can see from the visuals. And as we're talking, a lot of agencies and officials are working in as well to see how they can salvage the situation. As we speak, there's an excavator working there in the building. And the soldiers, my cameraman, will make an attempt to in there. And on my right at the moment, there's another excavator packed still on the road. Where we are at the moment, the road you guys should leave and as well as moving the second excavator. So if you can see from this you can see the entrance is an estate, and there are skyscrapers not quite yet still under construction. One that should be still under construction, but from what we gathered, we said there were construction workers on site at the point where the building came in. The the information coming from eyewitnesses has been everywhere. Some said from 10, some said 20, some said up to 80 persons went in that building when kicked in. We don't have the official figures yet. Until we have that, we would, when that is supplied, we would get back to you. Sani.
A lot of, activities, things happening at the same time there. We're seeing, of course, security and, areas that are being cordoned off. But Dare, finally, if you can tell us what indeed is the situation in terms of those that have been taken, in terms of the numbers now, those that have been rescued. What can you tell us about that? Well, what you're seeing are live pictures from the multi-story building located in the Ikoyi area of Lagos. There's still many feared trapped under the rubble, trying to ascertain the figures at the moment. But we understand, according to the spokesperson of the National Emergency Management Agency in the Southwest, Mr. Ibrahim Fariloye, he told Channels Television that 3 bodies have been recovered from the rubble, 3 have been rescued. So far, officials of NEMA, the Lagos State Emergency Management, LASEMA, as well as operatives from the disaster response units of our security agencies, the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, are all on ground on the rescue operation at that Ikoyi Gerard area. And the Lagos State government has also blamed incessant building collapses on the state. I believe our correspondent earlier said that the Deputy Governor of Lagos is at that site. The government has blamed the incessant collapses of building in Lagos due to poor compliance with physical planning laws. So the evacuations beginning. We'll continue to bring you up to speed on the latest developments there. But let's take you to stories from around the world as reopening continues. Even though there is still the pandemic, more people are receiving COVID-19 vaccinations and economies are slowly recovering. Here's more on the global COVID-19 update.
Australia's eased its international border restrictions for the first time during the coronavirus pandemic, allowing some of its vaccinated public to travel freely and many families to reunite, sparking emotional embraces at Sydney's airport. After 18 months of some of the world's strictest coronavirus border policies, millions of Australians are now free to travel without a permit or the need to isolate on arrival in the country.
It's a pretty emotional day today. We lost my father-in-law last week, so it's happy feelings and sad feelings all at the same time, but so glad to see our family finally.
And this is the relief of we're finally here. It's been a long week, it's been a long 24 hours. We've been traveling for probably more than that now. And just the relief of seeing them. Sheer gut-wrenching sadness of why I'm here. But you can't fault the fact that at least I'm here, so I'm so grateful for that.
While travel is initially limited to Australian citizens, permanent residents and their immediate families, it sets in motion a plan to reopen the country to international tourists and workers. Meanwhile, Thailand has become one of the first destinations in Asia to open up to tourists to rescue its battered economy. Fully vaccinated tourists are required to present a proof of vaccination pass to health officers and immigration upon arrival. Thailand has lost about 3 million tourism-dependent jobs and an estimated $50 billion a year in revenue due to COVID-19. It's a similar situation in Israel, as vaccinated foreign tourists are now allowed to visit the country, as it eases international border restrictions significantly for the first time in 18 months. Only foreigners who got their second or third COVID-19 vaccine jab within the last 6 months are allowed in the country, with some exceptions, such as humanitarian or medical needs. In other developments, non-working period has started in Russia, as the country reported 40,402 new coronavirus cases and 1,155 deaths in the past 24 hours. The day before, Russia reported 40,993 new COVID-19 infections, its highest single-day case tally since the start of the pandemic. Authorities are trying to curb the spread of COVID-19 by closing many workplaces for paid non-working days and imposing other restrictions all over the country.
Vaccines alone are not enough to keep the pandemic away. Continue to take responsibility. Visit our website, it's channelstv.com, for more updates. I'm Millicent Walker. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.